There's a huge COVID explosion in India. India right now is witnessing a highly contagious and lethal second wave of COVID-19. The healthcare infrastructure is overstressed, with COVID numbers surging tremendously. As COVID cases continue to surge across the country, we are seeing shortage of medicines, beds. People have to wait for several hours to get tested for COVID. India on Saturday reported more than 2 lakh new COVID cases and more than 1,000 deaths in the last 24 hours. Hello everyone, this is Tina Thakkar from the Economic Times. Joining here with us is Professor K. Srinath Reddy, President Public Health Foundation of India, to share an overview of the severity of COVID in India. Sir, what about the double mutant variant? How worrying is it? The WHO has recently said that the variant B1617 is concerning and may impact our vaccine countermeasures. What do you have to say about that?
B1617 has acquired the characteristics in terms of mutations taken from two pre-existing variants.
Okay.
It has taken, for example, from E484Q, and which actually has the property of vaccine escape, and that was noticed as E484K in Brazil and South Africa. And the other mutation it has acquired and combined in itself is the L452R, which was noticed in California with higher infectivity. Now, the question is, how dangerous is this? We'll have to wait and see. We still do not have adequate information from India. And it can actually, if it is more infectious, cause problems of greater number of cases. If it has the property of virus vaccine escape, we have to hope that our Covaxin, which is inactivated virus vaccine, can actually offer a broader platter of antigens and therefore a broader spectrum of immunity rather than vaccines geared up only against the spike protein. But I think tests are still going on. It is premature to get panicky. But I would like to give one message. Whether it is the original virus or one type of variant or another type of variant, as long as you wear a good mask and as long as you're not participating in crowds, then still the virus can't enter your body. So that is the primary defense against any virus.
Okay. Sir, we've just spoken about double mutant variant. How effectively is the Indian system tracking mutants of the virus?
Well, I think we are increasing our capacity for genomic screening. But remember, the British mutant, which was detected for the first time in Britain in September, was revealed to the outside world only in December when their cases started going up.
Okay.
And therefore, after that, I think our genomic screening increased and the genomic screening consortium was established. And from January, we started paying more attention to the mutants. And I think that is now picking up speed and scale with more laboratories also joining in. And it's important for us to identify the mutants, not so much because the public health precautions will vary. As I said, it's still masks and avoiding super spreader events that matter. But it helps from another point of view. We need to study whether these mutants have a vaccine escape or not, so that then we know how much the vaccines will help and what type of vaccines will help. The second is, if there are new mutants coming in from outside, then if we pick them up early, then we have to do contact tracing to try and limit their spread. Whereas with the old virus, which is well established and now there is community spread, contact tracing is not that important. Whereas with a new variant, certainly it has to be treated as a new culprit and has to be traced as fast as possible in terms of contact tracing.
Well, but how effective is to get vaccinated in this scenario, given that the WHO recently said that with this new virus, probably it won't work. How effective is to get vaccinated?
Well, actually, it's not that the vaccine doesn't work at all. It works less effectively. Only in South Africa, that particular South African variant with AstraZeneca, they reported a very low level of vaccine efficacy. But even with the Novavax and Johnson & Johnson, they did report efficacy levels of close to 50% or higher levels of efficacy. Therefore, we know that as long as the vaccine crosses the 50% mark, it's fairly okay. It may not give a 90% efficacy, but if it gives you a 62% efficacy or 65% efficacy, that's fine. So we have to continue to vaccinate with what we have, while we hope that the variants will not affect the vaccine efficacy further. And secondly, if our Covaxin turns out to be a winner, because it's an inactivated virus with many more antigens to present for the immune system, and if it doesn't have the problem of immune escape, then we are in a fairly good position.
So important information coming in here from Professor Reddy. Thank you so much, Professor Reddy, for all the insights. That's it from us from the Economic Times. We'll bring you more. Keep watching the space. Thank you.